Starting off this hour, a new chapter begins in Canadian politics as Mark Carney leads the Liberal Party to victory in the 2025 federal election. The results are in. The Liberals have won 168 of 343 seats, putting them ahead of the Conservatives, who secured 144 seats in a tightly contested race. This election saw voters abandoning smaller parties in significant numbers. In fact, the NDP saw its influence shrink, while the Green Party's national support dropped by half, from 2% to just 1%. Voters mostly rallied around the Liberals and Conservatives, making this one of the most two-party dominated elections in recent Canadian history. Now, with the election behind him, Prime Minister Mark Carney has outlined a bold 5-point agenda which majorly includes Canada's housing crisis, tax cuts for low-income Canadians, a boost to defence spending, a major industrial push, and he also aims to position Canada as an energy powerhouse. Well, joining us to discuss the fallout from this historic Canadian election is Eric Wahlberg, a political analyst who's joining us from Toronto. Eric, thank you very much for being here with us. We spoke to you prior to the results coming out. Now that we know that the Liberals have won, what is your reaction to the election?
Nothing special, really. It was just like the last election. Trudeau called it early and ended up with a minority government. So here's Carney calling the election again early and getting another minority government. Although this time he's in worse shape because his ally, the NDP, the Socialist Party that works with the Liberals traditionally in minority governments, it was cut in half. So it's not even an official opposition party now. It's only got 7 seats. It needed 12 to pass the threshold and become the official. It wouldn't be the official opposition because the Bloc Québécois has its solid 23 seats. But the NDP, the Bloc Québécois doesn't really work with the Liberals very much. It doesn't really like that. So it's better to have the NDP. So it looks like Carney may have to try and pull a rabbit out of the hat and make the NDP an official opposition party so that it can get on the subcommittees and that it won't be able to, the Conservatives won't be able to derail the Liberals' agenda, which is better than the Conservative. I'll admit that. Carney is a banker, so he's not really a populist or a people's man. He's more part of the global elite, the financial elite. So that really puts him at a disadvantage through all of this because he's facing Trump and has to be not a globalist anymore, but has to be a Canadian and concerned about the Canadian economy. But he has a program with to try and revive Canada's industry as much as that's possible, given China's control really over world consumerism. But he is doing that, and he will be able to deal with Trump. So it's better than Trudeau. Trudeau is not at all popular with Trump. Trump respects, I think, Carney at least.
Eric, I'd like to come in. We are, of course, shorter on time. But I want to look at Pierre Poilievre, who's not just lost this election that looked at the tip of his fingers just months ago, but he's also lost his seat. What next for this Conservative rising star?
Well, they'll give him a riding somewhere. The Conservatives will just take someone will resign and he will be parachuted in so that he can be in the parliament. So that's not really a problem. And the fact that he lost his riding, well, he's from the West, but he chose a riding in Ottawa, and Ottawa is solidly liberal. That was a very foolish a political move. That just shows you that he's not really a savvy politician, that he's got a big mouth and he likes to throw things out like Trump. But he will do something, he will have this gap of like the embarrassment of losing his seat. So it's not a really serious problem. The Conservatives will deal with it. He is a strong. The Conservatives support him. He's got good backing, so that's not really an issue. I think that, but his agenda is Trumpian, and it's not. There's no environmental consideration really. He's big on oil sands and really horrible environmental issues. So I'm glad that he's not the new leader.
Eric, to bring an end to this discussion, I want to divide my final question into two parts. What is Mark Carney going to face as the most challenging aspect inside of Canada, and then how is he going to tackle Donald Trump?
Well, Canada's, it's very polarized. It's now almost like a two-party system again, with the third party, the NDP, really cut out of this. Unless Carney, so I would urge Carney to try and fiddle the electoral, not the results, but to allow the NDP to have its opposition status, because he's going to have to work. He can't just keep calling elections. We've had two, and they're hugely expensive, these elections. So you have to deal with what you've got. So he's got to, that would be a good step, but also just pursue his economic policy and hope that he can do this in the face of Trump. That's really all we can hope. Just sit back and watch him. But also on foreign policy issues, he's well, he's not going to rock the boat. He's going to be pro-Ukraine, vaguely pro-Israel, not too much, because that's really disgusting to be really pro-Israel now, but he will leave them in peace. So really nothing has changed with this election. It was another expensive election with, we need is proportional representation. Then we wouldn't have this ridiculous situation where a large part of the people are just shut out from the election. So,
Eric, thank you ever so much for joining us and providing your insight. Now we know who the Prime Minister of Canada will be for the coming years. We wait to see how he reacts to Trump, to foreign policy, and also Canadian issues. We will, of course, will bring you all of those updates here on NewsX World. Speaking of Trump,